What is up, everyone? This is Justice, and today we are going to be watching some gameplay of a 65-0 streak I got, and I'm also going to be giving you guys tips along the way. So I started doing this a long time ago, back in 2012, where I would give you guys live tips as I was playing the game, and a lot of people seem to respond well to that. It's just going to kind of be abstract, guys. There's no the tips aren't really in a specific category. They're not about a specific sword. They're just kind of in general. So let's just jump in. So starting out, guys, I like to go Shadow Sphere when I'm behind something to try and throw people off. It just helps, because if they know you're Shadow Sphere, they're going to start swinging. Anyway, you can see right here how laggy the server was, or at least how laggy the player was. If you're in a game and it's laggy, the server's laggy, just leave. If you're fighting someone who's laggy, try not to fight them. So right here, guys, I saw this guy going up the ladder, and I know on this version, going up the ladder, most of the time you have to zoom in. So I knew he was not going to see me coming. Easy pickings. One thing I like to stress a lot is to be aware of your surroundings on this game. Right here, I saw the player going up to the Illumina stand, so I decided to go over there and catch him either at the top of the elevator, the escalator, or at the bottom. So this is one of my favorite ways to get kills. They never see it coming. Easy. Another important tip I can give you guys is just remember your tool is always in your right hand no matter what. And the reason why I like remembering this is because you can utilize this to your advantage. That's why I do the side swipe. But also when you're trying to kill someone on a beam, for example, I'm about to kill this guy on the beam with Ghostwalker. I know that I have to flip around 180 in order to kill him, so as long as I'm using Ghostwalker, I can do that. This is another example of knowing someone is coming up the ladder. It's always just a really easy kill, guys, because they're not ready for it. So this guy had jumped up and down on the trampoline a few times now. I figured, you know, I'm going to pull out the firebrand and try and kill him. And it just worked. You know, you don't always get the kills on trampolines, but if you're going to try and get him, a firebrand's a good thing to use. Same with the Dark Heart. So right here, this guy was using an Illumina. I would have attacked him with Dark Heart, but it's not a good idea to attack a powerful sword on a beam with Dark Heart because chances are I'll get bursted down and we'll tie. So I used the Firebrand to make sure I damaged him before he damaged me. The easiest way to get a level 9 Ghostwalker, just go for the low-hanging fruit, guys, the players that aren't good. So here's another example of how laggy this server really is. But at this point, 15 kills in, there's no point in me leaving, so I kind of signed up to get killed by a lagger at the end. Huh? This is another example of just paying attention to your surroundings at all times. I saw this guy floating up, he had the Illumina glitch, and so I decided to end his misery, put him out of his misery. I did him a favor, okay? And I also used Firebrand because it's the longest sword. You know, like I was talking about, I'm going to be making a very comprehensive video on beam tips and how to fight people on beams, but I used my Dark Heart right here because this guy just had a Link Sword. As you can see though, using Dark Heart is kind of deadly. He flung me off the edge. That happens very often when you kill people, especially on beams, so be careful. Now, I was checking for the next player I can kill, and I saw one up at the top of Illumina. He was about to come down. So, guys, this is always an easy kill. See how their arms are up in the air when they're coming down? You always get the first hit in when they're on the escalators. That's one of the best ways to kill people. I seldom recommend people fight Windforce with Dark Heart because Windforce is much longer than Dark Heart. I always use Firebrand most of the time because Windforce is longer than Dark Heart and Firebrand is longer than Windforce. So this is another technique for the escalators over by Illumina. When you're going up the escalators, there's a way, and you have to time it right, and practice makes perfect, of course, but there's a way you can lunge yourself forward to basically catch up to people up there, to basically jump in front of them or right behind them. You have to do it at the right time. Boom. It's able to get him. Very clean kill. This is another example of using range to fight range. I didn't want to come off the platform with him hitting me with the Firebrand first and me basically dying before I could hit him with my Dark Heart. So at this part, I give an example of waiting to strike at the perfect moment. I see this guy spawn in, I back off, I wait until I know his force field's gonna disappear and I attack. The force field lasts for about 3 seconds, by the way. This is another example of using range to fight a very powerful burst sword like Illumina. As you can see, it was just a better idea for me to use that. But right here, I attacked the guy with Venom Shank, and that was a really bad idea. I should have used Darkheart on that guy. Always fight always fight Venom Shank with Darkheart. Another technique I use is whenever someone's picking up an item off of a stand, wait for them to pick the item up and then attack as soon as they pick it up. This is because you have the low ground, you're going to hit them first. They have the high ground, their sword's going to be in the air, they can't hit you. Also, if it's a med kit, you know, they can't attack you with a med kit. Now, I only go for these beam kills once again if I have a touchstone. So I didn't know if this guy had a Darkheart or not. I just assumed he did because he came from there. So I attacked him with a Darkheart because, you know, I don't want to attack him with something else. I might get killed. And if you know someone does not have a powerful sword, always use Darkheart on a beam as long as you've got touchstone because, you know, you're basically gonna hit each other and you want to get that lifesteal back instead of trading with them. Now, the only time when I actually kill a fresh spawn is when I'm streaking, and if I do, guys, I always use a Darkheart. This is because with a Darkheart, if you hit someone who has a force field, you can get lifesteal back. This could basically keep you alive when they're hitting you. Now, this right here is one of my favorite kills you can get with a Ghost Walker, is to catch people in mid-jump. Just one of my favorite things. This is just an example of why I love using Firebrand, because you can get those range kills that normally you wouldn't get. This is another example of waiting for someone to pick up a medkit before I attack them, and I accidentally almost killed myself. It was actually weird because we both picked up a medkit there. It looks like we duped it. But what really happened, if you look closely, is the items on the map respawned that very second. It's just hilarious. Now this is kind of rare, but always remember, guys, that your sword extends through walls. So you can kill people on the other side of walls. It's kind of rare to get in that circumstance, but yeah. Just another reminder to always use Darkheart when fighting Venom Shank, no questions asked. So this escalator kill, this guy saw me coming, so I pulled out my Darkheart because, you know, I needed all the lifesteal I could get to survive, essentially. And that pretty much does it for the streak, guys. I end up getting killed to this guy who was lagging terribly. It's unfortunate, but the server was lagging in general, so, you know, mix that with player lag and this is what you get. See how his reaction is late too? Oh man. But, you know, this just underscores something. Whenever I see someone lagging, I always let the server know, because the worst way to find out someone's lagging is by dying to them. That's the worst. So, you know, if you die, let someone know, and let everyone know in the server, so, you know, they don't have to feel the wrath of the lagger. And it's not anyone's fault that they're lagging. That's just how it is. You just want to try and avoid people as much as you can if they're lagging. So that does it for some live tips while watching a 65-0 streak I got. This was like 2 weeks ago. You know, there's a lot of streaks I've got recently that's around the 65-0 mark. I have all of them uploaded as shorts, most of them uploaded as shorts, and the shorts have been working out. So I'm going to be doing a lot of shorts in the near future, but also videos as well, guys, of course. Either way, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think if you'd like to, and stay safe. Hope you enjoyed.